In this video today, I'm going to show you a 3-step framework to help you pop an A on your next school test. By watching this video, you're going to be more confident, more prepared, and more equipped to ace that school test. Watch this. Hey, what's up? I'm Kantis, Simmons, the academic success guru and leading authority on student improvement, as well as the creator of the Ace Your School Test program. In this video, I want to show you how you can pop an A on your next school test. Yes, you can pop an A on your next school test. Now, if you've never ever heard my story, I've spent 25 years in school. Yes, that's 5 years of pre-K, 7 years of elementary school, 5 years of high school, 4 years of college, and then 4 more years in grad school. And I say that because over those 25 years, one of the things that's been common is that I've always had school tests. And regardless of where you are right now, maybe you're an elementary school student, middle school student, high school student, college, grad school, or maybe you are a caring adult, one thing is going to be common. You're going to be tested to make sure you know the information. So I'm going to show you a simple framework that I've learned over those 25 years. And, honestly, before knowing this framework, I struggled a lot on tests. But after understanding this framework, it made things sweatless for me when preparing for tests and taking tests. So are you ready? Well, here you go. Here's the POP framework for acing your test. POP stands for prepare, organize, and practice. Prepare, organize, and practice. Let's talk about the first aspect, prepare. Here are 3 things that you want to do when preparing for a test. Number 1, know where you are in the class. Yes, I want you to know what is your current grade or grade point average in that class. Are you making an A? Are you making a C? Are you making a B? Or are you absolutely failing? Now, if you're failing, you need to know that you're failing. But I want you also to know what it will take to get that grade up. Now, of course, anytime you make an A on a test, it's going to raise your grade point average. You're going to raise your grade in that class. And I always believe in doing your best. And if you do your best, you should get an A. So know where you are in the class, know what your current grade is, and know by getting a certain score, where would that leave your grade? Number 2, know what will be on the test. Yes, you need to know what will be on the test. Will it be the information that you've talked about the last semester? Will it be the information that the teacher or professor went over this last week? Or will it be the information that's in the book or what the teacher has lectured on? It's important for you to know what will be on the test. And number 3, know how the test will be administered. Will it be an essay test, a multiple choice test, a fill in the blank test, or a short answer test? Now, you want to know that because as you're preparing and organizing yourself and practicing for a test, you want to know how the test is being administered so you can be well equipped to ace that test. So that's the first part of the framework to prepare. Know where you are in the class, know what will be on the test, and know how the test will be administered. Number 2, organize. Get organized. The best way to do that is by gathering your notes. Now, I know sometimes it gets very hectic to keep up with your notes. So let me show you this strategy that I teach on note taking, and I believe that it will help you get organized where your notes are concerned, but also help you prepare for your test. So I have a little notepad here, right? Now in your class, you take notes in class. Here's my 50-50 note-taking strategy. First thing I want you to do is to take a piece of paper or your notebook where you're taking your notes and write a dotted line down the middle. On the left-hand side of the notebook or the place where you're taking notes, only on the left-hand side, write all of your in-class notes, your lecture notes. These are the things that the teacher says, hey, listen to this. This is most important. You should know this. Write all of those in-class lecture notes on the left-hand side. But on the right-hand side, leave it blank right now. But when you're studying for a test, make up test questions that go in line with the notes on the left-hand side. Did you get that? Study notes, in-class lecture notes on the left-hand side. On the right-hand side, make up test questions that go with the notes on the left-hand side. So in getting organized, this is the best way to gather your notes. Now, if you haven't done this already, hey, you still can do it. Take the current notes you have, maybe it's a full sheet of paper, and grab another piece of paper and make up potential test questions to go along with that. That's going to help you get organized where preparing for your test and practicing for the test is concerned. So number one, gather your notes. Number two, gather other tests. Yes, there are people who have taken this test before. Maybe they're in a future class, maybe a class last year, a few years before you. Find those students, ask them for their old test. Another way to gather tests is to go on the internet and find tests in that subject. If you're studying geometry and you're studying triangles, see if you can go to Google or Yahoo or Bing to find tests that deal with understanding triangles in geometry. Another way to gather tests is to make up your own test. Yes, take the tests that you've taken past weeks or past months, gather those tests to also use those as a platform to prepare for your test. And the third way to get organized is to gather your study buddies. Yes, study buddies. Who are the people that you can point out would be a great person to study with? By having a study buddy, number one, is going to keep you accountable. But number two, you're going to have someone to bounce information off of. And number three, you're going to have someone who has a like mindset like you that can help encourage you while you're encouraging them to ace the test. So there are three things you can do to get organized. Number one, gather your notes, gather other tests, and gather your study buddies, the people that you're going to study with. The third part of the framework is to practice. You've heard the phrase, practice makes perfect and practice makes permanent, all of those various things. Yes, they are true, but I like to say it this way. If you want to prepare for a test, practice taking tests. The best way to prepare for taking a test is to practice taking tests. For example, when you're taking the driving exam, you just don't jump in the car and start driving. The best way to prepare for the driving exam to get your license is by driving a car. So if you want to be a great driver when it's time to take the driving exam, you practice by driving the car. Athletes, football players, quarterbacks, they don't just jump into the game to play the game. They practice playing the game during practice, so when it's time to play the game, they're well prepared. The same is true for you. The best way to prepare for taking a test is by practicing taking tests. So here are a few ways you can practice taking tests. Number one, take those exams which you gathered. Take those exams. Go through every question. Make up your own test questions and practice answering those on the spot. Yeah, go ahead and set a timer and take that test as if the teacher is administering that test. Number two, find someone that you can teach the information to. You see, you know the information when you can teach it to somebody else. Like right now, I can teach you how to get to this studio because I know it like the back of my hand. So for you to show that you know the information, try teaching the information to someone else. Maybe teaching it to your study buddy, to a friend, to a mentor, to your mom, or to your dad, but teach it. That brings about the confidence that you know it. Thirdly, talk about it. Yes, talk about it in your everyday conversation. And by talking about it in your everyday conversation, that brings you the confidence to say that you can display the information or you can communicate the information when it's time to take the test. So that's the third part of the framework, is to practice. Practice, practice, practice. Don't just go take the test, but beforehand, take the test before you take the test. Practice taking tests so that when it comes time to actually taking the test, you will be prepared. There you have it. That's the POP framework for acing your next school test. Number one, prepare, organize, and practice. To prepare, know where you are, know what will be on the test, and know how the test will be administered. Get organized. Go ahead and gather those notes. Gather those old study exams and gather your study buddies. And number 3, practice, practice, practice. Take those old tests. Talk about it in your conversations. Teach it to someone else. Hey, I believe that you can ace your school test. Hey, if you love this video, be so kind to share it with someone else that you know could use this information. And I have a very in-depth course about how to ace your school test. I go into more details on how to prepare for tests, how to increase your memorization, and I even talk about how to overcome test anxiety and test nervousness. If you would love access to that program, there's a link down below where you can get access to the Ace Your School test. Hey, I'm Kantis Simmons, and remember this, there's only one game in life that counts, and that's your A game. I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.